For the second straight night, the San Jose Sharks go to the shootout and are not victorious. We'll talk about another crazy night for Erik Karlsson, the second leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League. We'll get to all that and a crazy third period comeback for the Sharks that comes up short. Right now, this is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, November 3rd, 2022. Your San Jose Sharks lose to the Florida Panthers by the score of 4-3. This is Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive postgame after each and every game. So if you want to be part of the show, Teal together and join the conversation on the YouTube page or on the app with fellow Sharks fans all over Sharks territory. Of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, TikTok, and of course find everything at tealtownusa.com. And if of course you want to support the podcast, you can always hit us up with a YouTube Super Chat or a Venmo donation at tealtownusa. And with that, I say hello to Mr. Ian Reed.
Hello.
Delayed.
I look at my camera. Eh?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Man, oh man, game that kind of started off a little slow, and then the Sharks just came on. I want to say the last 40 minutes, but then they kind of got sidetracked in the middle of that second period frame. But overall, a nice loser point, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, here's what we need to start somewhere else, because the game was fine, but ESPN sucks. ESPN sucks. I was told that in order for hockey to be important, it has to be on ESPN.
True.
Which I don't agree with. I think it's stupid. I just think it's a very 1980s way of looking at sports. Because I think ESPN, all these things are kind of overrated at this point. But ESPN, the production is awful. And I'm not gonna beat up on Leah Hextall, which I could do, but I'm not going to, because there's so much worse going on. This is the third game that we've had on ESPN. This isn't even talking about scheduling the first game of a doubleheader at 8 o'clock Eastern, giving it absolutely no chance to finish on time. At least when NBC did it, they started games at a reasonable time, so
right.
Yeah, there'd be overtime, and sometimes we'd miss a little bit of action, but they would generally shuffle it to another channel and you could watch it. Which, if you're streaming, if you're watching on the NHL package, no, you got to watch the other game, even though you're set up for that game. But just the technical issues, the fact that it feels like every time by the end of the first period, the audio is 90 seconds out of sync with the play. They're just awful. And then tonight, I didn't have this problem, but I saw a lot of my Twitter feed where people got they just cut away from the game. It's the game's scheduled over. It's the Sharks and the Panthers. No one really cares. I can't get over how shit ESPN has been. TNT has been way better. I think TNT, their intermission is more entertaining. I think production-wise, it's way better. It doesn't have nearly the number of issues that ESPN has. And that's not even... And TNT has better commentators, too.
I completely agree. I don't know what's going on with my mic. It's not coming in on for some odd reason. Give me a sec here, but we've had the frustrations with ESPN, and
yeah, because they suck. They should be embarrassed by how shit their production has been.
Yeah, and I'm getting texts left and right from Ruben. It's it's always streaming season. Your event has ended. for some odd reason here.
Yeah.
Let me fix my mic. I don't know why it's not coming in on there, so I apologize doing this while I'm on the air, because it seems like it's not connecting to my Scarlett for some odd reason. How do I sound to you, Ian?
You sound fine to me. You can't. You kind of like. You get a little like airy, a little bit like there's some, I don't know, backgroundish noise every once in a while. But like other than that, like I'm not having any issues.
Oh, well, that's good.
Other
Well,
than these
easy for you.
fuckers at ESPN. No.
Oh boy. Tell me how you really feel there, bud.
I'm so glad. Like I hope that we are done with these ESPN games because they're fucking terrible.
I think we have 3 more.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! Why? Who wants to watch the fucking Sharks to begin with? Why are the Sharks on
we
national
do,
TV?
for crying out loud.
Well, I do, but I picked this. I chose this. As a Sharks fan, I chose this misery. Why are we subjecting them to a national audience?
Well, it's a rarity. Hey, we get to be on. What is it? TNT for the first time this year. So.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm trying to fix this up here. How about now? Hopefully that'll get going. Yeah, nothing's happening for me. My apologies, gang. I will do my best to fix this up as we go on, but let's get into the first period, shall we?
Okay.
19-9 in shots for the first period. What did you think of the match penalty to Cunnin?
Deserved.
You think a suspension's coming? Because I didn't think he made. I don't think he meant to hit him.
Suspension's coming. Probably a fine. I don't know if there's going to be a suspension. Maybe. I don't know. Like the wheel of justice in the NHL, we know is really finicky. I don't think there's going to be a suspension there, but you never know. I mean, throw a dart and you make the right answer. I didn't the hit like the hit, not a great hit. And I think it's the deserved that I got. I think he deserved that he got. Unfortunate. Do I think he was trying to injure him? No, I don't think he was headhunting or anything like that. I think it was just kind of a hockey play gone wrong. But the NHL is trying to minimize contact to the head, and there was definitely head contact there. So yeah, I'm not upset about I'm not upset about it.
No, at first, and I think I got my mic to go there, so apologies for that early on, folks. My thought was, that's gonna you're hitting you're hitting the head. I didn't think he was making it, early on, but yeah, he makes a blow. He's out for the rest of the game. Cunning's out, and I'll give kudos to that number 2 PK. I mean, they held him off for about the last 31 seconds until Barkov made it 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, good. It was a good penalty kill for the Sharks, and but eventually, like Barkov got left way too open, and there should have been. I'm not sure who lost it. I think it might have been Benino lost his guy in that situation, but yeah, a good penalty kill, but like you can't give a guy like Barkov that kind of space and time. He's gonna bury it more often than not. And I think this was probably the only goal where I didn't really fault Reimer, because I don't think Reimer had a particularly good night tonight. But this wasn't on him.
No, I think he was open. He needed some help, but I don't think anybody came out to help him in that one. So that made it 1-0 after one. Then the Sharks turned it on. I think it was like, let me look at my notes here. They were out shooting Florida 11-1 in the second period.
Yeah, but it's funny though, because I think when they were out shooting the Panthers at that point, like a lot of those shots weren't dangerous.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. They had a lot of shots, but nothing that was going to make make us say Bobrovsky's off the force. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then Florida came on, had like 13 the next 14 shots, and then they get Radko Gudas out of nowhere, gets his one or two goals a year on a seeing eye shot. And yeah, I think I'm with you. Reimer wasn't his best game, but that's the one that I think he was.
Yeah, and I kind of I said this after that goal, right? Like it's really hard. Like I'm not gonna get on here. Like I will be honest, and I don't think this was Reimer's best game, but I'm not gonna sit here and get super pissy about it because like I said, I tweeted this out after that goal. It's like it's hard to get mad at a guy who's done the lion's share of the work so far this season. Like I mean, like even when the Sharks were complete ass before Erik Karlsson got going, before you know what I mean, before Timo got going, like James Reimer's been the most consistent guy all season, so it's hard to get really pissy at James Reimer for not having a good game. And I think like again, tonight was this his best game? No. Is it something where I think James Reimer should just put it in the rear view and forget about it? Yeah, absolutely. Like I think he's been fine, and I'm not concerned about James Reimer going forward.
No, I mean, and you can even play devil's advocate and say, hey, he kept them in this game where he stopped 41 shots on goal and kept them in it. So, yeah, it was tough. It was tough to see some of those go in, and I was expecting one of these guys to kind of take the lead. Reimer, I think, is kind of the default right now because he has the victories. But at the same time, you're hoping that Kakinen would take that next step. You would hope Reimer would just be. I mean, Reimer has been lights out, but it's like, shoot, man.
Yeah, I mean, and Kakinen's last game, I mean, I wasn't on, but like Kakinen's last game wasn't good. Like, I appreciated Kakinen showing solidarity with his defenseman by being just out of position on a lot of those goals against last game. I do appreciate that solidarity with his blue line.
Ricky Barton Slager saying Reimer's going to cost us in the draft. We should move him ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, like again, like look at like this team, like this is the perfect outcome, right? Lose entertaining games.
True.
Which they did. Like tonight was an entertaining game. Like I don't feel like, because you don't want to feel like, I don't want to come on here and feel like I wasted my evening. Right? Like I don't want to feel like I'm going to come on here and try and be super angry over a team that we know is bad, right? Like I still want to be entertained. And if we can be entertaining and lose at the same time, fantastic. Like I don't want to come on and feel like I know some people are like, oh man, I wish they would just get destroyed, right? But I don't want to watch the Sharks lose 9-0 every night. Like I have way better things to do with my time than watch that team. So I'm not going to get mad when they lose. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not going to get, you know what I mean? Like, I understand where people are coming from, but if they lose entertaining games, I'm a happy camper.
Gotcha. If someone wants to take EK's salary and give us a decent return, I'm all for it. I think we've kind of been seeing a little bit more of this on social media as he's gotten on a run here, and the Sharks did that in the third period after Radko Gudas boarded Timo Meier late in the second, and then Forsling takes a puck over glass penalty, set up a Sharks 5-on-3. Timo Meier starting to come up, starting to get going. We knew that first one,
and I think this. I'm not going to pat myself on the back too hard here, but like this is why I wasn't worried about Timo. I knew it was eventually going to come together and he was going to get going. That's why I wasn't worried about Timo. I'm a lot more worried about Couture at this point, but Timo coming on, like it's nice that he's come on when he has, but it was something like it was an inevitability. Like he wasn't going to stay off the score sheet because he's a goal scorer, and he's a very good goal scorer in this league.
Who are you more concerned with, Couture or Hurdle? Hurdles only had that one goal in Prague, and that was it.
I'm not worried about Hurdle either. I'm not really worried about Hurdle. No, not yet.
When would you start to get worried with him?
I think when you look at the thing with Hurdle is I don't think he's gotten a lot of grade A chances. Like there was a couple times tonight where like I can't remember, like on the power play when I think it was Karlsson or Timo got Couture the puck and he just didn't know what to do with it. Like, the Couture that I remember would have just shot that thing immediately and probably scored. And there was, if I start seeing stuff like that from Hurdle, I think I would be concerned. But I don't think I don't know. I'm not really worried about Hurdle. I don't know. I'd have to look at the underlying numbers, but I think Hurdle's been fine. I just think that, he's a guy that teams are going to hone in on it, and then they're going to hone in on Meier too. So, I don't know. I'm not concerned about Hurdle yet. I haven't seen things in Hurdle's game that really concern me, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's fair. In that sense, if you're not, to me, just from the optics, it's like you haven't scored a goal on North American soil yet. Yes, you had a couple of assists Tuesday night against Anaheim, which is always nice. You love to see it, but it just I just get a little concerned when these guys go on a deep double-digit dry spell. As Hurdle is your main guy, who he's not getting traded. We know that. We heard that already,
right?
According to Pierre LeBrun, But getting back to the third period, then the Sharks, who had only scored 3 goals in the third period, score 3 in the third. We talked about the Meier one to make it 2-1. Then Karlsson with a nice little seeing eye shot that beats Bobrovsky. To tie it up at 2-2, and then what? Matt Benning? What? Where did this come from?
Yeah, I mean, look at blind squirrel finds a nut. Obviously, the Erik Karlsson goal was really nice, and the setup from Erik Karlsson was really good. But what really impressed me, I think, about this Matt Benning goal was, I think, when you're a guy like that who doesn't really score a lot of goals, I think it's like been 100 games since he scored. But I thought like Benning played it absolutely perfectly. He was really patient, waited for the right time to shoot, took the shot at the perfect time. And I wasn't surprised that the Sharks crawled back in this, because if there's a goalie who's going to give up a game, Sergei Bobrovsky is probably the most overpaid goaltender in the NHL. I don't think he's particularly good. I mean, he's good, but he's not like, I think when the chips are down, he's not the guy that I would want to go to.
He is very much a roller coaster goaltender. He'll have he'll have a Vezina type year, and then he'll be Martin Jones.
Yeah.
Granted, Martin Jones got a freaking shutout tonight against Minnesota, so
again, blind squirrel finds a nut.
Oh boy. So Sharks had a lead 3-2 until Connor Verhaeghe, who was one of my faves on this roster for the Panthers, ties it up, his 5th.
From that angle, that goal can't go in. Like, it was a good shot. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from Connor Verhaeghe. That was a hell of a shot, but that you shouldn't get beat from angles like that.
My question is now the concern for the Sharks as they went into overtime. You take a rough hella dudes penalty. Of course.
Brutal.
Then there was a brutal makeup call there on Florida to go back to 3-on-3.
Yeah, I mean, Bobrovsky kind of held the puck there for a while, and I think that's kind of what led to the 3-on-3, because he kind of got to hold the puck for a long time without getting a whistle, and then decided he was gonna then decide, oh no, play on. And I thought that, like, you shouldn't, when you have 3 players on the ice, you shouldn't have too many men on the ice. Counting to 3 is really easy. But I think that probably, I think Bobrovsky kind of played a factor in that, and the Sharks, they did kind of get jobbed there.
So nothing really happened on the power play as as it was very brief, and then a 3-on-3 they go to the shootout.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people I see in here, Shoeshine, saying we know why LeBanc is bad because he's only good when Burns is with him. Carolina could trade him, be good for them. Your question on, I know AJ was, saying I'm concerned that Quinn is thinking correctly, throwing LeBanc into the shootout twice. I mean,
I think he's trying to get him going. And I think LeBanc's shootout record isn't terrible. Like, I don't think it's that bad. For a guy who's not, like I've always said, like LeBanc isn't a trigger man. He's more of a passer than a trigger guy. And so for him to have success, you need people to give the puck to. I think Quinn is just trying to get him going. Do you like it? No, but I mean, I think the guys that you'd want to shoot tonight, I still think all shot. Like, you probably don't want to go to LeBanc exactly where you did, but I think the guys who shot tonight are the guys you kind of want to shoot. And I think, I mean, if I was coaching the Sharks, I would just start every overtime with Timo, Hertl, and Karlsson. And so I was kind of scratching my head a little bit at like who he started with. I think it was like Sturm and
Nieto and Ferraro.
Ferraro, and I'm like, okay. And I don't know if like, and again, I don't know. I'm not David Quinn, but I wondered if he thought like maybe he thought Florida was going to throw their top guys on, and if the Sharks could survive, then he could go back to that 3 after and get like a more ideal pairing for them.
True.
I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses for David Quinn. I think I wonder what the play is, and I could kind of see that as a strategy. But you can't get scored on. That's the problem with that on a night where I don't think James Reimer was particularly good. I don't think you want to. I don't know if that would be my strategy. I'd be curious to see what Quinn's take on that was, though.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what he was trying to do there. I mean, if you're going to get LeBanc going, are you going to try to get Hertl going? Are you going to try to get Noah Gregor going?
Mm-hmm.
I think I was trying to do this middle of the game, but I believe with everything going on, the Sharks have scored about 30 goals, 20 of them because of the Meier goal tonight. 20 of them are from forwards. 10 or 11, I believe, are from the defense.
And 10 of those are Erik Karlsson.
Yes. Who, believe it or not, folks, is the second leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League right now. The guy has been on a roll.
Yeah, it's been fun, right? Like, I think it's been good. I think I think it's fun. Like, it's obviously you want, the thing that everyone keeps saying is, I wish you would just earn his contract. Well, he's, I mean, I'm sure the goalposts will shift somewhere else now.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, look at when the Sharks do good, it's good. When players who are paid to do well. I mean, that's what you want to see. And I think, can Erik Karlsson keep up this tear? I don't know. I mean, it would be fun, but like at some point he's gonna cool off, right? And then the goalposts will shift back, and we'll all be angry again. or we'll be angry that we're getting points because fucking Erik Karlsson can't stop scoring. I don't know. Fuck that guy anyway, right?
Karlsson, 7 goals, 4 assists in his last 4 games. Give credit to Timo Meier. He has come on strong now after that 1 goal, 4 goals in his last 4 games. So again, I agree with you in the sense that if we're going to lose
entertaining games,
exactly.
Like if again, like I'm not too concerned about like these one, like, yeah, I mean, look at every team is gonna get points, right? Like, this isn't the old days where people just tied or you just lost, right? Like, everyone, like, if you get to overtime, you're gonna get a point. But I'm not worried that these points are gonna screw up, because again, I think like a lot of people are really honed in on Connor Bedard, and Connor Bedard is a hell of a player. But like, if you finish in that top 5, you're getting a player. Like Connor Bedard would be really, really nice, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Connor Bedard because I think he's really great. But like if you finish 1-5, you're still getting a decent player. And again, like the draft is the thing you worry about at the end of the season. And I'll just, that's the way I'm always gonna kind of approach it, right? Like I'm never gonna come on here and be like, God, I hope the Sharks lose and I hope they get destroyed, because I don't want to watch them get blown out. Like I'd rather them be entertaining. And again, like I don't have faith that this team is gonna rack up enough. Like I'm not worried about this. Like I am not cheering this team thinking, oh man, they're gonna sneak into the playoffs. No, they're not. They've won 3 games.
3-8-2. They have 8 points. Only
Oh no.
Arizona, Anaheim, and Columbus have fewer. I mean, with San Jose, if you were to do the simulator right now, if you were to do Tankathon right now, the Sharks have the second best odds at 13.
It's November.
But again, it's November. So
yeah, there's a lot of season left. So I'm not gonna I'm not sweating these points. Like I understand if you are in like the absolute, we must get Bedard and that is the be all and end all of the season. I get it, right? But again, it's a lottery. You're not guaranteed. Just because you finish last doesn't mean you're gonna pick first overall.
Yeah, and you're guaranteed you can't drop any more than 2 or 3 spots now. If you're in the spot where the Sharks at with the second best odds, they can only go down like 4. So you're getting something, which is good.
Yeah, you're like I said, the Sharks are gonna, like, if the Sharks keep on this pace, it's gonna be fine. They're gonna get a good player in the draft, and everything's gonna be fine. And hopefully, like this isn't a super long term thing. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, I think we all know. I think everybody's gushing because Bedard could be that generational player
Not. I don't think he's generational though. I hate generational gets thrown out so fucking much right now, and I don't think as many players are generational as people think are.
Oh,
I think he's very, very good, and here. It's like, okay, maybe you're not going to get fucking Connor McDavid, right? Because I don't think he's Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid's a generational fucking player. Sidney Crosby is a generational player. But, oh no, you might end up with Nathan McKinnon. Fuck, that's the worst thing ever, isn't it? Right? Oh no, man. He's not Connor McDavid, but maybe Steven Stamkos. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, I mean, remember how everybody was gushing over Vincent Lecavalier, that he was like this mega guy. I mean, hell, look at Lindros way back when.
Yes.
They call him the next one.
Yeah, of course.
So,
but you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to take anything away from, like, I think Connor Bedard is a hell of a player, an elite talent. I just don't like it. I just think generational is a term that gets thrown around way, way, way too often. That's all.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. Did you happen to see what the Lightning wore tonight, as all these reverse retros start coming into play? Because those white Storm jerseys looked beautiful.
Yeah, they're nice. I don't know, man. It's fine. I like the ones that are actually retro. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, some of them aren't, I don't know. Some of them, like, I just feel like they just kind of did whatever the fuck they want.
No, trust me. Like the orange, the sunset coyote one that they have.
That's fine. I mean, it's fine,
but
it's fine. Like, it is a throwback to the, like, that weird era in the 90s where we made really funny looking sweaters.
Oh,
like the first, it was like pretty much that was like the original like third sweaters, right?
Yeah.
Like that was kind
green.
of like they're very weird. Like they're fine. It's fine. I don't want to get too much into that.
Gotcha. No, I was just kind of going around the league. I didn't want to do a full on wraparound, but like we mentioned, I saw those where Tampa lost in the shootout. Martin Jones gets a shutout, which begs the question: is the bet still on for this season?
No, and I'd like.
I
Let me look
wasn't
at some
sure.
Martin Jones stats here for a second. Like, even if it was, all right, like even if it was,
I'm not
Martin
trying to
Jones
get you all
currently
going.
has, wait for it, a .893 save percentage. Like, even if it was still on, I would win. Like, it doesn't matter. Martin Jones is not a good goalie. This is what that whole experiment was supposed to show. It didn't matter where he went. He's still Martin Jones.
Yeah. All right. I'm not trying to get you going, dude.
Fuck that guy. And fuck his agent for never calling him.
Ah, jeez. Karlsson said dryly about setting an NHL scoring record for defensemen in a loss. Great. When I'm 50 years old, I'll look back and be happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's winning, right? Like, these guys, the thing is about tanking, and this is the one thing that I think people always sometimes will forget. The players never tank. Like, the guys on the ice want to win. That is the way they are wired. That's how you get to the NHL. You don't get to the NHL if you're just like, man, whatever.
They want to keep their jobs.
Well, right, and they're competitive guys. Like, you don't make it to the NHL if you're not a competitive guy. So yeah, obviously, look at Erik Karlsson. They want to win games. They don't care about the draft, whatever, right? Like, management can be like, yeah, we're gonna set up a team that's absolutely gonna fail, but the players never want to fail. Like, the players never tank. It's the management that makes the conditions prime for it.
Gotcha. Quinn has said Vlasic suffered a lower body injury. Hope he's ready for Saturday. He wasn't out there really for the third period or overtime, of course, and was briefly out for the second period.
Yeah, we did a TTG last night, Teal Tinted Glasses, for anyone who hasn't saw it, and we talked a little bit about the Barracuda. Well, a lot about the Barracuda, let's be honest. And the one thing like we all kind of agreed on is like that's not really good for anybody if Plastic's out, because they're already missing Nudavara, and the Barracuda's blue line is not very deep. Like, I think if you look for flaws on that team, I think the blue line's as deep as a puddle. And if you call up a guy like a Ryan Merkley or a Hatakka, for example, I think that makes it a lot more difficult for them to win games, because they're going to have a hard time transitioning the puck up to the offense. And I think a good transition game is key in the modern game. And I know there was a game where the Barracuda were without Hatakka, and it was very obvious they were without Hatakka, and it wasn't a good night for them. And I know they're kind of on a little bit of a skid now. So I think, for my sake, I hope that, Vlasic comes back and we don't have to pillage or what's an already shallow Barracuda blue line. That being said, obviously I understand the relationship between the AHL and the big club, and this is what the AHL club is there for. But I'd like to see one team win. If I'm going to watch a game every night of the week, like one of them should win.
I completely agree. The Cuda are at 4-2-1, good for 9 points in third in the Pacific, with a hot Tucson Roadrunners team that's 6-1, and an even hotter Ontario Reign squad that's 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
So be on the lookout for that. I think their next game is Sunday. They are in the
Sunday,
Saddledome against the former
in Calgary, and then Tuesday in Calgary, and then I think they come back home.
Yeah, to take on the team formerly known as the Stockton Heat, who are second right now. That's what you get for leaving Northern California, but that's
neither here nor there.
Yeah. Couple more things from the locker room. AJ, thanks, bud. Quinn says they can't control what happens next with Cunnin. That Vlasic has a lower body injury. They hope he's ready for Saturday. Says EK has been playing like a Norris defenseman from the get-go this season.
Yeah, he's been good. Like, again, like Erik Karlsson is what he is. He's never going to. He's not going to be a guy who's going to dazzle you with his solid defensive play. Like, he's there to put points up, and That's what he's doing. So, I know some people are like, oh yeah, but the plus minus, like, yeah, but like, again, like if you're counting on Erik Karlsson to stonewall people at your blue line, then You haven't watched Erik Karlsson play ever in his entire career.
Yeah. So, and Paul Maurice said that they'll reevaluate Patrick Hornquist. Excuse me. I keep thinking Lundqvist when I see the QVIST.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll be reevaluated tomorrow. Didn't return after that hit, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
with that.
and again, like I think, again, if I threw a dart right now, I'm thinking fine. But if he got a couple of games, I also would not be shocked.
Right, I would not be shocked. After all, it is the Sharks, of course.
I didn't like the hit either. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend the hit either. Like, I don't think it was a good hit. But you never know with the NHL, like how they're gonna. I'm not going to get into like, oh, woe is me, the Sharks always get fucked by the league, because I don't think that's the truth. I think everyone gets fucked by the league.
We can never figure out what the league's going to call for crying out
right?
loud.
Like,
you know.
So I don't know. Like,
so let's see here. Just going through the chat before we get out of there. Shoeshine, we need Vlasic. He's our worst player.
I don't think he's been.
He hasn't been that bad this year, though.
I don't think he's been that. I don't think he's been great. But I don't think he's been as bad. But again, I think when you ice guys like Matt Benning, it's, it is what it is.
Yeah. From Dmitry Filipovic, the San Jose Sharks have scored 32 goals this season. Erik Karlsson has been on the ice for 24 of them, registered a point on 18 of them, and scored 10 on himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous run. That again, like you want, it's a ridiculous run. I'm sure he's not happy with how the game ended, but I am.
The Sharks go to. Jeez, this is the tough part. It's like we want them. We want them to win, of course, but at the same time, it's like, getting a top 3 pick wouldn't be too bad.
No, and again, like I think, I still think again, like this whole season's such a weird anomaly, like for what we're used to. Again, like for me, man, like I'm just enjoy. You have to enjoy the little things, right?
Right.
Like, you have to enjoy, like you have to still enjoy like the nice goals. Like I can't follow this team and just like be like, oh, they scored, fuck them guys. Like I know there are people like that out there, and I'm not trying to take any shots or anything. Like it's just not for me. Like I can't do this if that's the way I'd approach it.
True. It's one of those things. I mean,
like again, you do you. If you are one of those people, I am not trying to like turn my nose up at you or anything. Like, you do you. Let me do me.
I'm not going to tell you how to fan. You don't tell me how to fan.
Right. No, exactly.
PJ48, what was attendance tonight? 10,182. So they still stay above the 10,000 mark, but they, again, another game below the Cow Palace level, which will be interesting because Saturday night is Los Tiburones night. Be on the lookout for that. They getting the press release. They're really doubling down on the Latin Heritage Night for sure.
There's like a lot going. Like, I'm not trying to defend the attendance or make excuses for it, but like, come watch the Sharks probably lose against the Panthers or watch the World Series, right? Like, there's a lot other stuff going on right now. I think that, like, if you had to make that choice, what are you choosing? Like, obviously we chose what we chose because we're
sure.
dumb. Like, this is all I do. I watch hockey, but I wonder if once some of these other things stop happening, if like attendance kicks up a little bit, but maybe not. Because again, like, it's like, come and deal with that, or I don't know.
The other thing too, and we've mentioned this before, the Niners are on a run, even though they're on a bye week this week. The Warriors have been okay, but they're still, world champs. I mean, it's not like you don't have anything else right now going on in the Bay Area. I mean, college basketball hasn't started. College football, I don't even know how Cal and Stanford are really doing. You know, I I can't wait for the CFL playoffs this weekend, but um, my Saskatchewan Roughriders aren't playing in it. But I mean, there's gotta be something that's gonna tick soon. But yeah, 3-8-2 is not gonna help you out in the
I
Bay
think
Area.
like honestly like I thought the attendance would be kind of lower this year, so I think like it's not good, right? Like it's not good for an arena that fits as many people as the CP Center does, but like it's I don't think it's terrible. Like again, like someone in the chat said, like uh, non-traditional team, non-traditional market, weeknight. I don't think it could be worse. I think attendance could be worse, is
It
what I'm
could
trying
be
to say, I guess.
worse. It could be worse, and I think that's why the
Like I
Brassers
would be
always
worried if like a team like whose fans travel well, like if
Toronto,
like Chicago,
yeah,
Toronto,
Detroit,
Detroit. Right, yeah, Detroit. Detroit, like Detroit fans always seem
the
to come at
obligatory
SAPN
six.
numbers. Right? So I would be really worried like if they were pulling those kind of numbers when those teams kind of roll in.
Yeah, that I mean, it'll be nice to see a full crowd, but you're going to get a loud crowd like you did for Toronto not too long ago, last week.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Perez, does anyone know if they're selling numbered Evolve jerseys at the tank yet? I think they just started to. I did see some Hurdle ones last week when I was at the games. But I also heard that they are finally doing heat press. They're finally getting it in. I will say, last time I checked with the Sharks Pro Shop management, they said if you want to get your jersey sewn, it's going to be 8 to 10 weeks. Uh,
Oof.
and unfortunately, because of supply chain issues, they can't get the Cuda jerseys. The brand new Cuda jerseys won't be in until probably the new year, if you even look at Sharks Pro Shop. So it's quite a bummer because you're going to roll out 6 jerseys, and only 3 of them will be available for your holiday shopping.
Who's running the shit, ESPN?
Oh wow! Aramark is running it. So, but that's more of a CCM thing with the CUDA stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully they are doing pre-orders for numbered reverse retro, and I'm inclined to get a Karlsson one for that one before they before they trade him for a first round pick and at
They're,
the end of the year.
they're not trading Erik Karlsson for fuck's sakes.
There's
For fuck's sakes.
just trying to get him a little bit going for you guys. Come on now. So, so with that, I think we're gonna get out. Rudolph Balser is making his return. 1 block, 1 giveaway, 1 takeaway, 12:22 time on ice.
Yeah, look at I mean, he could have scored in his revenge game, but I still think I think they bought I don't know why they bought him out. Like it just makes no sense to me. I still think it was a dumb move. Like I think buying out Rudy Balsers was a dumb move. And I don't think they replaced him with better players. So, he seems like he's doing okay in Florida, and I'm happy for him because I think he's he's not a star player, but he's a player that I've always liked.
I've always thought that was a head scratcher, especially the amount that he was bought out at. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a perplexing move.
Yeah, indeed. And there were a lot more that transpired. Use up the Brent Burns salary to go get Matt Benning, who scored tonight.
Sure, great. And he'll score again in another 107 games when he's somehow still in the league.
Still on this team, for that matter. So,
you're not wrong.
What was it? 3 or 4 year deal? I thought
4 years.
Oh lordy. Okay. Well, on that happy note, in case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. All of them there, like Apple, Google, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Odyssey. Of course, you're watching us on YouTube right now. hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That'll notify you when we go on the air. And of course, as always, as we like to say, if you are watching us on the replay, leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think about Erik.
Tell me I'm dumb.
You could tell Ian he's dumb. You could tell how Erik spells his name the right way. I mean, Karlsson's been on a roll. Tell us what will happen first: Karlsson winning a Norris, or get traded. Who knows? I mean, come on. You could just go off, just go crazy, as long as you don't.
Karlsson winning a Norris, like, I mean, look I would love if Karlsson won a Norris, but if you think a guy who plays it at super late at night on a team that's not going to make the playoffs is winning a Norris, I have a bridge to sell you.
Well, the thing is that if he keeps putting up these numbers, I mean, you kind of have to consider it, right?
Oh, I think he'd get considered, but everyone's sleeping.
But Morgan Riley. But Morgan Riley. I mean, because Morgan Riley.
Or, Cale Makar, or who I think is just going to have a stranglehold on the Norris forever and ever.
Oh, gosh. He might take over for Lidstrom for that part. So, all right. With that, if you haven't checked out our previous content, please do so. As Ian mentioned earlier, TTG rolled last night, recapping some of the latest with the CUDA and some of the kids going on. And you guys even touched on the Sharks, so be on the lookout for that.
We did talk Sharks for a few minutes. We talked a lot of Barracuda. Mark gave us an update on how a few of our college prospects are doing. It was nice to have Mark on the show. So yeah, definitely going to try and get TTG off the ground a little more regularly. It's just really tricky when, because obviously the Barracuda play on certain nights, and I would rather not do it after a Barracuda game. But it's hard to fit everything in when Sundays are obviously booked off, and then you have to kind of fit around after dark and around Shark games and stuff. So going to try and get TTG going a little more regularly in the future, but there's a lot of things that have to kind of fall into place for it to work properly. But if you did listen to it, watch it, and enjoyed it, I do thank you.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Definitely check that out. Of course, the Pucknologist ran on Sunday. You can recap that one. Not going to say the Sunday is going to be epic, but it might be epic if Erik Karlsson keeps going with this. But yes, and of course, Saturday, the Ducks come back to town after this weird schedule. Oh, what is with this freaking NHL schedule maker?
I don't, man. Like, again, like, I know, like, beating up on the schedule maker is a Teal Town, USA specialty, but I've always been of the opinion that, like, you have to book 32 really busy buildings, and 31 in the Coyotes building.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like, you have to schedule around, like, there's obviously other things that happen in most of these buildings. So I don't beat up on the schedule makers too much. I think that it's a shit job, and I don't envy them because I don't think there's a way to make it work well. And it is what it is, man.
True. Very true. I know. Craziness. But yeah, the Ducks come back to town, and they got trounced tonight in Vancouver 8-5. So great. 130-pound Trevor Zegras is going to come after James Reimer. Oh Lordy, watch out!
That was great. That was great. What are you mad at? He did get fined for it, so. Clearly, he's mad for a reason.
Well, yeah, obviously he got Matt Benning inspired after that little shot. Tuesday.
Yeah, I Trevor Zegras is fun.
Oh, love it. Love his personality for this game. I love it absolutely. So with that, he is at Ian Blogs Hockey. I am at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter, the Instagram. Your final thoughts, Mr. Reed.
Final thoughts: when the Sharks do good, it's good, but when they do good and still don't win, that's even better.
All right, and
I have to figure out how I'm gonna because that used to be the thing, right? Like when the team was good, it was like, well, when the Sharks do good, it's good. show over. I had
Good night,
to obviously change that up a little bit. So yeah, when the Sharks do good, it's good. But when they do good and lose, it's even better.
Gotcha. I will say it's Barabanov, not Barbanov.
Look, like again, the less Sharks games on ESPN, the better.
We'll be back with you on Saturday following the Sharks and the Ducks. I believe Randy and the gang will be back for that one. 7:30 puck drop on Los Tiburones night, which means, I can't wait for a Spanish goal. I can't wait for it, and we'll have it on here. So we'll be back with you on Saturday night for that one, following the Sharks and Ducks on Los Tiburones night. If you're going to the game, got a nice shirt giveaway, and hey, you know what?
I just want to say that like every game in the NHL should be broadcasted in Spanish.
Agreed.
Like it just should be a thing. It shouldn't be like a special night thing. It should be in everything, right? And I know some people are like, oh well, is hockey very popular among this, like, among the Hispanic population? And it's like, do you think, like, how much hockey do you think they play in India? But we have a Punjabi Canucks broadcast up here,
right?
That I'm sure it wasn't a hit overnight, but like if you put things in a way that people can access it, then eventually I think it would be a net positive for the game. And I think with the number of Spanish speaking people, especially in NHL markets that already exist in NHL markets, the fact that you can't watch a game in Spanish is just ridiculous to me.
And I mean, I know I'm going to get this name wrong. Ryan Singh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he first started with Hockey Night in Canada Punjabi,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been excellent. I know he's more on the West Coast side for Sportsnet, but
right.
He's
I think that's like my always counter, because it's like, oh well, do Spanish speaking people like hockey? And it's like, it's not the point. The point is if you give them options, like, and again, like I don't know, like, but I think it's just like league wide. You should just have league wide, like you should just have a Spanish, like even if it's just audio and you sync up your audio with the screen, like whatever. Like I feel like the NHL is not doing enough in that regard, because I think if you maybe it won't be the most watched thing, but I think if you have it as an option and you run it for a certain period of time, someone's going to tune in.
Yep.
Like the game is exciting. Like if I can watch the game and listen to it in my own language, like I think eventually you would bring more people in. It wouldn't be an overnight success thing, I don't think, but I think if you have it out there, I think it's only a matter of time before it would start catching on. And look, at all you need to do is make one new fan, because one new fan will bring in two more new fans, will bring in four, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And then this is why you guys know, obviously I'm Canadian, but like I'm always like, when people are like, oh, we need to add another team in Canada. Do we? How many new fans are you making if you put another team in Toronto? Not a single fucking one.
Mm-mm.
Right?
You're just dividing up the community with the Leafs and whoever.
Right. But soapbox. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, but it's a great point, Ian, because and 21 Pucks is mentioning it too.
Mm-hmm.
San Jose and LA probably have the largest population of Hispanic hockey fans. The Sharks had a Spanish language broadcast. I think they only did home games in 94, 95, and that was it. And then ever since they started the Los Tibbs night, they've always had that option.
Yeah, but I just wonder, because not even just San Jose. Like, obviously, I think the California teams should
easily.
It makes sense. Like, absolutely
even
do
Dallas.
it. Dallas, the Florida teams.
I think Florida does have a Spanish broadcast.
Okay, well then, good for them. Like, way to go, Florida. Then, smart.
They're doing something more than having sweet reverse retro jerseys. So,
yeah.
So Los Tips night, Saturday night, go to the game, have some fun, enjoy the Latin heritage that they're going to be sharing all over the place. Free T-shirts as well. Of course, the warm-ups, so be on the lookout for that. But after the game, make sure you hit us up on the YouTube channel. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. That will notify you when we do go on the air. Hopefully after a Sharks win or tie, or well, not tie, but another shootout loss. And
Yeah, so some people are saying in the chat like there's definitely options out there, but I don't think they're apparently it's on the Sharks Audio Network, but like that's the first I've heard of it. Isn't that like, should I have not heard of it before then? And maybe Vegas does it too. I don't know. I just think it should be a league-wide thing. Like, again, I think it should be a league-wide thing, and I think they should make more of a point of letting people know. Because I don't think they do a great job of, saying so.
It should be something that's well known, not that we have to guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's all.
So we'll be back.
Soapbox over.
We'll be back with you Saturday night following Sharks and Ducks. That's a 7:30 puck drop in San Jose, the finale of their 6-game road or homestand. It seems like a road trip because it hasn't been wonderful. So until then, it's been, terrific. I mean, great. Yay. 1 win, 2 shootout losses. Yay. 2 out of 10 points. Okay, I gotta remember.
Hook it into my veins.
Yeah, I know. It just seems, reverse psychology on me with all that. So until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you Saturday night.